Greetings and salutations, fellow pilots. This is Akirishin. I recently reviewed a Tier VII Corsair, and in the course of that review, I referenced the FW190 A8R2 and compared it against the Tier VII Corsair. And in your comments to the video, one of you indicated that you were having some difficulties with the FW190 A8 and requested that I feature it in a video to discuss how you can make this aircraft perform well. So I wanted to meet that request, and hence this video. I will refer you to the Corsair video for the aircraft comparison portion that I would normally do in one of these videos, and I will include a link to the Corsair video at the conclusion of this review. So the FW190 A8, it is equipped with two 13mm machine guns, each of which do 49 damage per second, with a high rate of fire of 700 rounds per minute, and medium, somewhat lackluster effective firing range of 500 meters. It is also equipped with two 20mm cannons that do 80 damage per second, with a 400 round per minute rate of fire, which is pretty typical for cannons, but a very good effective firing range of 720 meters. And then finally, it has two 30mm cannons that do 180 damage per second each, with a 240 round per minute rate of fire and an effective firing range of 576 meters. The FW190 A8R2 has high airspeed and a long-lasting boost. I want to say it's a 20-second boost if I remember, but you'll see that in video, so confirm that. The FW190 A8 is said to be effective in mid-altitude combat, and we'll talk about exactly what that means, but is also indicated as having low effectiveness in maneuvering combat. So this is not what you might consider to be a nimble aircraft, an agile aircraft. You, for example, would not want to go head-to-head with, say, a Japanese fighter, which are typically very agile, at any type of close range. So the key to this aircraft is picking your targets and selecting carefully when you want to engage the enemy aircraft. You would not, for example, want to swoop in on a Japanese fighter that has, 7-8 second turning rate and get in close to that Japanese fighter in a dogfight. You will lose that conflict. Rather, what you want to do is to engage such a fighter at distance and wear that fighter down, cause critical damage to engines and wings so that you're decreasing its maneuverability, and thereby give yourself the advantage in the fight. If it appears that the Japanese fighter, the maneuverable fighter, and this goes with any fighter that's more maneuverable than this aircraft, if it appears that such a maneuverable aircraft is trying to get in close, then use your excellent boost and airspeed to gain distance, and to re-engage. That is the key to understanding and fighting effectively in this aircraft. Where people often struggle with an aircraft such as the FW-190 A-8 R2 is when they try to make the aircraft something it isn't. Now, I have in my build done the best that I could to increase this aircraft's maneuverability. And specifically, I have equipped Control Surface Adjustment 3, which increases maneuverability in turns by 3%, and Lightweight Airframe 3, which increases maneuverability in all axes by 3%. I've also equipped Engine Tuning 3, which increases engine power by 5%. That helps us keep up our speed in maneuvering activities. Okay, so having said all of that about this aircraft's challenges when it comes to maneuvering, what I'd like to do now is to show you a clip of this aircraft maneuvering in a dogfight with a more maneuverable aircraft, specifically a Mikoyan Gurevich I-210 fighter, which has about a 10-second turning rate for 360-degree turning. Certainly a more maneuverable aircraft than the FW-190 A-8, which has a 13-second turning rate even with all of our upgrades. So the purpose of this clip is to share with you some strategies that you can use when you're stuck in that close-in dogfight with the more maneuverable aircraft, and running is not really a viable option. What do you do? So here's the clip. Alright, so our video starts out with our FW-190 A-8 taking on a group of bombers, actually on the very tail end of having done so, when I notice down in the mini-map that I've got a fighter that is sneaking up behind me. Realizing that, I break off from the bombers to deal with the fighter. Alright, so we're seeing the fighter and it's coming in, and we're diving down, staying out of its gun stream. And what I'm doing here, if you'll notice, is that I am changing directions frequently and in an unnatural way. So I'll be going one direction and then I will quickly change to a different direction to keep the enemy fighter guessing as to what I'm doing. You'll see here I'm staying, for the most part, out of the stream of fire here, and we're using our roll capability. We're not going to outturn the I-210, but this plane is pretty decent at rolling. And again, you see there I'm changing direction, staying as much out of the fire as I can, and we were able there to, with our roll, cause the I-210 to pass beyond us. And now he has become the targeted, and we are now the hunter. Not for long, grant you, but the tables have turned, if even for a short period of time. Now this aircraft is much better in the horizontal turn. As you can see, we're not going to be able to stay with that I-210 in horizontal turn. So I changed direction again, and I'm using gravity here and twisting and turning so that we're not a steady target. We're not on one line that, the I-210 can just hold its guns and, hold down on the trigger on us. Changing direction. We're going to pick up a little airspeed here by diving. Whenever you start to get low on airspeed, you want to dive and pick up a little airspeed. Able to put a few rounds there on that fighter. And now we're able to target this I-210. And as you can see, we're quickly taking this target out. Now, if you look here, we are surrounded. We've got 3 enemy aircraft around us, 2 of which are squarely trying to get us. And yet we were able to turn what was almost certain defeat into taking out one of the enemy aircraft. So that is an example. Even though this is not a good turning or maneuvering aircraft, when you get in this, because you're going to get in these situations, no matter how hard you try to pick your fights, no matter how hard you strategize to stay on the peripheral of the battle and not get into the middle of a melee, you are sometimes going to find yourself in such turning dogfights. And this video shows you that you can be effective in that if you keep your wits and you change directions, you roll, you dive, you make yourself that difficult target, and you're buying time either for a friendly aircraft to come along and help you or for the enemy pilot to make a mistake, which often they will eventually do. So I hope that helps you to better understand some strategies you can use if you do get in that, disadvantageous scenario. Now you may ask, well, Akirishin, this aircraft has high airspeed. Why wouldn't you want to accentuate that strength? Why are you focusing on the aircraft's weakness? Because admittedly, you are not going to turn this aircraft that has low effectiveness in maneuvering combat, you're not going to turn it into a highly maneuverable fighter. That just isn't going to happen. And you have to accept that reality. So why do I focus on its weakness of maneuverability and not its strength of airspeed? Well, it having high airspeed coupled with a long-lasting engine boost, the speed for the aircraft, in my estimation, is taken care of. And that frees you up to work on other issues, such as maneuverability. So let's say that you're in a fight with an agile fighter, and you're trying to keep your distance, and the agile fighter starts to close in the distance with you. Or conversely, let's say you're, engaging another target in an advantageous situation, and then all of a sudden a more agile fighter appears on the scene and is starting to threaten your viability in the fight. What do you do? Well, as I've said, you're going to use your airspeed, your high airspeed, and your long-lasting boost to hopefully gain distance from that more agile fighter. Your goal being to return to a more advantageous posture so that you can then re-engage that agile fighter if you so choose. So where does the maneuverability come into play with this? I, for one, do not like spending my entire match running. Because of that, I have I have found that when you run with an aircraft that is not maneuverable, you have to get a pretty good distance away before you can try to turn around to re-engage. And oftentimes that agile fighter will continue to follow you, sometimes to the ends of the earth, it feels like. They just won't let it go. So where the maneuverability comes into play is that when you do get enough distance away from that agile fighter, it will help you turn quickly around so that you can then re-engage. So you don't have to flee as far to be in a position to re-engage. Conversely, if you don't have that maneuverability, you have to gain greater distance before you attempt to turn around, because if you don't, as you're attempting to turn around, the agile fighters, some of which have their own high airspeed, will be upon you, and you will have lost the advantage once again. So you couple that high airspeed with improved maneuverability, and that allows you to re-engage sooner than you otherwise would if you didn't have the maneuverability. Also, many times you deal with heavy fighters that you know will outpace you in terms of airspeed. The best way to deal with those heavy fighters that may be able to outpace you is to have better maneuverability than they do. So for all of those reasons, I have improved this aircraft's maneuverability. And that is, in a nutshell, is how you fly this aircraft in combat, how you strategize your plan of attack. Because one thing is certain, the cannons, the combination of cannons and machine guns on this aircraft are excellent. This aircraft puts out some serious damage. So as long as you are in a position of advantage over your enemy, you're going to do quite well in this aircraft. And again, it's only when you try to, force a square peg into a round hole, trying to make a not maneuverable aircraft go toe-to-toe in a close-in dogfight with a maneuverable aircraft, that you're going to be frustrated. So recognize the aircraft for what it is, play it for its strengths, and avoid its weaknesses, and that's how you do well at the FW-190 A-8 R2. In terms of pilot skills, just show you that here real quick. I've gone with Engine Guru 1, which increases engine thrust by 3%, so when it does come time to get away quickly, gain that distance, we're going to have good engine thrust to do that in. And then I have selected Aerodynamics Expert, which increases the effects of all three of our upgrades by 40%. So great synergy there between our upgrades and our pilot skills, which is very important to me and that I really stress in these builds. Aerobatics Expert, which increases maneuverability in all axes by 2%. And then finally I went with Marksman 1, because we do have such great guns. I want to make sure that we're getting as many rounds on the target as possible. And Marksman 1 reduces dispersion of our forward firing weapons by 5%, and thereby significantly increases the chance of us hitting our target. Ammunition, I've gone with universal ammunition, which for our machine gun has a high chance of fire and a medium to low chance of critical damage. For both our cannons, it has, well, for our 20mm cannon, It has equal chance of fire and critical damage for our 30mm cannon. It has appropriately a high chance of critical damage and a medium to low chance of fire. So that's one of the things I really, again, like about this aircraft is its combination of cannons. You've got your machine gun that's great about putting some fires on the target. You've got your 20mm that has a longer range if you need to be attacking from longer range. And then you have your 30mm cannon, which if you get in a little bit closer, really, puts a wallop on the enemy aircraft. For consumables, I've gone with automatic fire extinguisher, control surface auto trim, and automatic engine restarter. In terms of the aircraft specifications, it is a medium altitude fighter at 1400 meters for optimum altitude. Its top speed at best altitude is 640 kilometers per hour, which is very nice. Time to turn 360 degrees, 13 seconds. So there's its Achilles heel. Stall speed is 180 kilometers per hour. Optimum airspeed 438 kilometers per hour. Love the paint schemes on the FW190 A-8. You're currently looking at Desert, which is my personal favorite. That's Summer, Winter, and Marine. I'll put it back to Desert because I really like that particular paint schemes. And of course, I've got my lucky 13 Shamrock, as I do on all my German fighters. Alright folks, so again, take a look at the Corsair video for the aircraft comparison chart review. And again, I'll feature that at the end of this video so that you can check that out. But right now what we're going to do is to head into a battle and see how this aircraft actually performs, show you how it can excel if you play it the right way. And I hope it helps. Okay, then we'll be fighting in our FW190 A-8 over the northern bridgehead, Cold Skies Theater of Operation. We'll head first to the command center here, secure that. And then from there onto the garrison.
Area of combat operations. Be ready.
And finally to the forward airstrip. It's a lovely looking plane. Great paint schemes. Suffers a little bit in the maneuverability department. Well, maybe more than a little bit. Other than that, it's a pretty good aircraft.
You are approaching the front line. Right. Off we go.
It's got a 20-second engine boost, which is really fantastic. Only one bomb. I was like, yeah, why bother? One bomb, really? Alright. Fighter here. Oh, the sound of those cannons. This guy's trying to fly me into the mountain here. Glad I didn't take the bait. Got a fighter on our friendly here. Let's see if we can help it out. There we go. Saved our friendly there. Anything left to shoot.
Large enemy force spotted over the
airfield. If we just maybe knock out one gun emplacement, that might do it. Let's see here. out a couple squirrels there. Sorry, Mother Nature. Alright, we'll head over here to this garrison. What's coming at us over here? We'll watch that heavy, make sure it doesn't come down on us. Might as well take out that gun emplacement. Shoot on me pretty good there. Multirole, our heavy fighter there. If I can reach it. Just a little bit out of our range, and we don't have our boost. Alright, we've secured it. Bombers coming in. Should be able to take care of those pretty handily with these cannons. We're doing well here. Fighter over there just popped up and then disappeared. Let's knock their leader out. Take me to your leader. Taking it on the chin from these bombers. I can get this last one before it gets us. It's gonna be close. There's something on our tail here.
Great job! No enemy bombers have broken through.
BF 109Z. Someone dispatched for us, thank you. Alright. Let's see what's going on now. Yak 9U there. Got a lot of fighter activity over here. Man, this is Yak City over here, the whole Russian Air Forces. Outforce. Yeah, fly right at us. Show you the power. Unlimited power. These cannons. You know what? Let's head down here and see what we can do with this airfield. I would love to take that from the enemy.
Attention all fighters. Enemy bombers detected. Destroy them. A line of thunderstorms is approaching. We'll soon be unable to provide support.
Okay. Ooh. That's a mess. Look at that. It's probably the whole Russian Air Force there. All those Yaks. beautiful aircraft, the ME-265. I really like the looks of that. Did a video on that. Check it out. Alright. Back to Yak City. Look at that, see?
There's a
Yak,
heavy
Yak.
storm here. Unable to proceed. Returning to base.
Got a low
Do
health.
you copy?
9U, that's the one
The
that
enemy
shot
has
us up, I
captured the
think.
command center. Don't let them gain a foothold.
Goodbye. Alright. We've got a IL-10 down there. Ooh, hello. What is on our tail? Still on our tail. Yeah, I think it's that BF-109Z. You're not gonna get us, buddy. Something's shooting at us, though. AA, probably.
Victory is in sight. Keep it up.
I really wanted to go get that ground attack aircraft, but I couldn't because the 109Z was messing with us. Is he back? Okay, you've got to go, buddy. Oh, we're stalling out. Dang it. Come on. Get me up there. Just one shot. It's too high for us. Alright. What are we doing? Oh, we're almost winning. That's good. See, I didn't take out that ground attack aircraft because of that BF-109Z. And it went and took the, I wonder if I can get him with a bomb. I think we're going to pull this out. It's going to be close, but I think we got it.
Great job today. We'll be waiting for you
Did you
back
see that
home.
flame on the side of the mountain? That ruined some pilot's day. Okay, so rank 1 on the team there and a victory. No medals. Where are all my medals? Alright, I guess I didn't earn any medals. Alright, so 13 kills, 4 assists. Let's see here. Got the Avenger accolade there for taking out that Yak 9U that had shot us down previously. Oh, we did get medals. Someone obviously wrote my senator. Okay, 123,000 in credits. Well over 10,000 in XP. That's really nice. 539 in free XP. Happy to see that. And what medals did we get? Let's see. Effective fire and flying start. And 2 chevrons on the grade rank. Over 8,800 in combat points. So yeah, very good result there for the FW-190 A-8. It's a fun aircraft to fly. Cannons are fantastic. Just love those cannons. Sharp looking aircraft too. Very nice design. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed this video. I certainly have enjoyed bringing it to you. And if you get an opportunity to fly the FW190 A-8, I hope you have great success in it.